All right, I just sent you the invite. Comment, and I'll bring you in. Man, this mint is good. I haven't had mint in such a long time. Comment on it, and I'll bring you in. Always a malfunction. Bring them on the video. Send an invite. Should be popping up. There we go. It says it's adding you right now. It says adding. I'm gonna press bring them on the video again. Send invite. Unable to add guests. They can't be added to your broadcast while a user is connecting. Okay, so here I'm about to bring you in this way. Join, approve, send invite. Unable to add guests. It says at the top adding. No answer from the live guest is what it said. I'm going to press it again and see what happens. They can't join your live broadcast at this time. Approve, send invite. Brett, I think it's something in your settings, man. You have to allow the microphone at the bottom. Make sure that. Let me double check everything. Go for it, bro. Take your time. It's a learning curve every time we do this. So I think I need some different software that speeds things up and that like stream to different platforms at the same time. So it's not you. Everybody's been having a hard time connecting every time. Let's see what it said. Send invite. Adding. It says it's adding you again. Okay.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Man, it's that gum thing. Look, you would think that as technology rolls on, we've been able to adapt. Man, I'm 30 years old, and this stuff still it blows my mind. Like the world we live in, man.
I know that's right.
New age stuff, man. It's not for me.
Yeah, that's not you, dude. It's every time somebody tries to get on here, it does
Oh,
it,
that's
man.
weird.
Yeah,
That's weird.
it's
You doing all
Facebook.
right, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So we got a former lawn care landscape guy with us today, and he's been in the industry. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about where you're at and what you did?
So I live in Brazelton now. I was in the lawn and landscape business probably for 10 years, every bit of 10 to probably 12 years. Man, I done everything from cut grass to install work. And then in 2020, I got hired at the rock quarry and decided to hang it up, man.
Really?
I tried to continue to do it, but man, it was just way too hectic. I was working night shifts at the time, and I wasn't getting off till 4 o'clock in the morning, so it just wasn't not enough time in the day for me to do it.
Yeah. So what would you
And
say?
plus, that was also right there on the downfall of COVID. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was too cutthroat. There's just too many people doing it. It's a price war is what it is. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, there's every time you go to a QT, I mean, you see every gas pump is a lawn care truck.
Oh yeah, definitely, no doubt, man. Yeah, cause see, have you been in Brownston lately?
Dude, we actually passed through it the last couple of days. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you can go, you make a solid point. You can go to the QT, which we have one in Brownston now, and you see 5, 6 trucks. You go to the racetrack, 5, 6 trucks. You go to the next little gas station, 5 or 6 trucks, and it's like, oh my god. And then as you get towards Jefferson, there's a handful of companies around there, and it's like every morning I'm taking my girls to school. I see 5 or 6 box trucks, and I'm like, what is the deal? Like y'all are cute, like y'all are getting paid to fill up equipment. Like, come on, do it in the afternoon or something.
Right.
I mean, that's what I used to do. Is I used to cut. When I would do it, I would cut during the day, and then at the end of the day, like, because at the time I had my company going, I was working night shift at the University of Georgia, so that allowed me a lot of flexibility. I could work during the day, and then every third week I was off. So I had 5 days off every third week. It's the way the schedule worked out. But anyway, so I would fill up in the evening on my way home from work. I'd get off at midnight, fill my equipment up, and be ready to roll 8 hours later. But that's just, people don't look at stuff like that hardly.
Yeah. Were you more residential or more commercial?
Residential.
Yeah.
85% of my stuff was residential.
Did you
And then
have
I
any
had
contracts that carried you through the wintertime?
I only had like 2 or 3. I had a HOA that was a year-round contract. I had a dentist office that was a year-round, and I think I had one more. But I think it was a residential. But everybody essentially, like, they were in a non-binding contract, which meant, they could opt out at any time, but they had to be up to date on service. They had to be up to date on payment, whatever.
Right.
And very rarely, I'd say, while I was in business, did I ever have somebody want to leave. I always kind of try to work with my customers and stay within a certain window. And I try to always work with them on their budget, when it came to like an install work. Now, I did get screwed one time in Jefferson. I done an install, and this is, man, hardscapes, that's a learning curve for me. And I always had heard that there's money in it. And so I started small. I done a fire pit, and I built one seating bench, and then it had 2 columns on either side. I done everything right. And for whatever reason, like, the homeowner took it upon himself he come home that evening, and me and him had talked. And then later in the evening, he sends me pictures of him destroying it. I'm like, you idiot. And
What?
so needless to say, I was in the hole,
Yeah.
and I didn't get paid for that job.
Right.
Because once he sent me that, I was like, yeah. But the bad thing is one of my buddies had done some work for him who owned some equipment, and he also worked with the guy at a warehouse or something, and that guy recommended me highly to do the job, and then that homeowner done that. It was wild. And then I really kind of shied away from hardscape work after that
Yeah.
because it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Because I
I hear
really
you.
didn't have no business doing it, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, learning curve.
Yeah, definitely learning curve. That's how we were with the maintenance. It took us forever to figure out like we couldn't make money on the maintenance side of thing. But we didn't do any residential, so it was all commercial. So
Yeah, see, a lot of folks, a lot of folks take different, but when it comes to the maintenance side of things and the pest control or the weed control stuff, it's a volume game. You got
yep.
to have volume. It's more volume on the weed control side though than it is on the maintenance side. But I'm a firm believer. It's a volume game on both sides. I
Yeah.
mean, because you can't you can't have you can't have 10. Let's just say I don't even know what the going rate is. Let's just say $60 account. You can't have 10 of them and try to make it. There's no way.
Right.
You got to
Right.
have 160 $60
Hmm.
accounts. It just depends on however you look at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's why we got out of it, man. It's like it's not, and especially if you have employees and you do lawn care, it's like, how do you
Yep.
even make money at it? Because everybody just lowballs everything,
Yep.
man.
And
So
it's kind of funny you brought up employees. So I had a guy. I say a guy. I mean, he was a young kid right out of high school, and man, I had trained him up so well. And I mean, he had been with me for probably 4, 5, 6 months, something like that.
yeah,
And man, I was getting ready to cut him loose so I could go do grading, and have him run his own route. I mean, I wasn't gonna give him nothing too serious, probably 5 or 6 yards a day. I mean, he'd be done by 3 o'clock every day.
right,
And man, I had trained him up so well, and I think he had a better opportunity come his way. And I was like, man, I can't fault you there.
right,
If as long as you're doing better for yourself, I can't hold you
yeah,
back. But man, I was so disappointed. And then I had another guy that I think he went to Mill Creek, and boy, he was a jam up worker. I mean, hard worker. And he was going. I had actually done the same thing with him, and man, he was going to college at Clemson,
okay,
and so he had, he was doing that, and I was like, man, I really would love to keep you, but I understand.
right,
But it's one of them things, it's a battle. It's a constant battle, and
yeah,
you as a business owner, at least with me, man, it's not. It doesn't look right unless you done it or unless you were there to supervise it. And I was always like worried in the back of my mind, if I do this, how many times am I gonna have to go back and fix something? How many times a day is the homeowner gonna call me? I got to worry about their driving and stuff like that. It was way too much.
yeah. So if there was somebody trying to start out in lawn care and maintenance, what would be something that you would tell them, a word of advice?
Better understand business. Better be able to understand business. Better be able to market. In today's world, I mean that's what it is. It's a market game more than anything. It's not so much of skill related like it used to be back in the day. I mean, yeah, skills does play a role, but I think business is the main key concept.
Yeah,
Because if you don't understand the ins and outs of business, you're gonna fail. And I learned that firsthand. I mean, man, it took me a long time, and not only that, I mean, it took a toll on my marriage. I'm working daylight to dark, 7 days a week. Hardly had any time with my wife, and at that time, when we decided to make it a full blown company, that was in 2017, and we had our first kid in 2018. So, there was only like a year that I
right.
had, with my wife, and then we had a newborn. I'm trying to carry the family, and she's stay-at-home mom, and then luckily, she took over the books, and then that's when things really started to kind of pan out. I let her handle all the paperwork side of things, and I took care of in the field. She took care of the back end of
Nice.
things. And it really, and if you're single or married or whatever, it helps, especially if you're married, which you know this, if you've got a supportive wife and a wife that's going to back you, I mean that's a main pillar as well. I mean,
Yes.
without that, you know, it's stressful. You know, I was having to before she took over the books, man. I was having to do accounts receivable, payout, you know, invoicing, expenses. I mean, I was having to do it all.
Right.
And it's like I'd be going down the road and my mind's 1,000 miles per hour, and I'm like, man, come on, Brett, snap out of it. You gotta, I mean, you know how it is.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, it's hectic, bro.
Yeah, I feel you for sure.
It's hectic. But man, it's kind of funny because you know, I was telling my wife today actually. I was like, if I ever decided to go back into it, if I ever decided, because I kept most of my
Okay.
equipment. Um, I got rid of my trailer, but I can still get a trailer.
Right. Right.
I told her, I said, if I ever got it back into it, I would go back to the maintenance side because it's easy and it's quick.
Yes.
That's where most of my experience is. But I told her that I would target one neighborhood. And if you can ever get your foot in the door and get in one neighborhood, say it's got 200 houses, there's enough work in that neighborhood.
For you
You would
never
never
to
have
leave.
to leave. You would
Yeah.
never have to leave. There's enough work for 1 week. You can work 6 days a week.
Yep.
There's enough install work. There's enough maintenance work. There's enough whatever, irrigation, whatever, to carry you for 12 months.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I told her if I ever decided to go back into it, that's what I would do. But it would be less than 3/4 of an acre. I would do up to 3/4 of an acre yards. And even then, that's kind of sketchy. I'd probably keep it at about a half acre.
Yeah.
You know, stuff where I could go in one cul-de-sac and probably knock out 7 to 10 yards in an afternoon. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
We met a guy like that before who had the whole. I don't think there was 200 houses in there. I think it was like 150 houses, and he did every single yard in there. And he would do little walls. He would do mulch sometimes, and he literally would work. 12 months out of the year, just staying in his neighborhood, man.
right.
And I mean, that's pretty cool, dude, for sure.
See, have you ever done any working traditions?
No,
But do you know what
no,
I'm talking about?
no, I
It's right
don't.
there. So it's a golf course community.
Okay.
And it's right there, and it's called Traditions of Brazelton, but it's really Jefferson.
Okay.
It's Jefferson addresses, but it's a humongous neighborhood. They're actually on phase 3 now, and that's the final phase. But anyway, there's enough houses in there. I know. All right, do you know who Russell Landscape is?
Yes.
All right. So I've actually met Bill and his son Teddy. Well, Bill's brother Bob owns American Landscape Group. So they've got, my understanding, they've got the right of ways. And the only reason I know that is because I competed with them and tried to get it. And if I could have got that, bro, I'd have been done. I'd have been sealed. I'd have been golden.
Yeah.
But if they could get into there, if they wanted to, and they could get in there, man, he could have all his crews in there every day. Wouldn't have to leave. But there again, he's more of that commercial world. You know, both of them are.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. The thing about lawn care is like it's such a repetitive thing. Like it's cool starting out. It's cool like, the first couple years it's all right, but then like you start doing it, and then if you're especially trying to do it, yourself, you get so burnt out so
Yeah.
quick, man. And even with the employees, like you have to give them incentives because they're constantly just going out doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's not like a project where you go somewhere new every time.
Right.
So
I know what you mean. Yeah, because I got burned out real quick. And then that's when I decided, man, I was just like, I need to get out of maintenance, but I need to keep a handful of accounts. But that's when I started doing landscape work. And then it just become way too much because I was one man and I had helpers here and there. And then I couldn't rely on nobody to be there. And I was just like, I was trying to keep work going and keep them busy. And it's just like, man, if you can't show up when you want to,
right,
be here X amount of time, so we can go.
Oh yeah.
And then, it's that one project I done in Jefferson, that hardscape project, the guy that was helping me, I'd sent him to the truck or something. And like 5 or 10 minutes rolls by, and I'm like, "What the heck's this guy?" And I rolled up, and he done fell asleep in the trunk.
Oh my goodness, man.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I can't be having that."
Yeah.
He eventually apologized. It took him a few minutes to apologize, but I mean, by that point in time, my blood pressure's pretty
Right.
high, and I'm like ready to send your butt packing. But
Right.
it was definitely a fun gig when I had it. I do miss it sometimes, but
Well, it doesn't
could
sound
I ever
like
do it?
you've completely ruled it out. It's something that you could pick back up at any time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because like I said, I kept my equipment. I didn't keep my trailer. I ended up selling it because it sat. Because I'm working at the rock quarry now in Gainesville, and man, I never used the trailer, so I got rid of it.
So, do you think you're much happier now working at the rock quarry versus working for yourself? Are you happier now?
No,
No.
no. The
No.
money's good. The money's good there, but man, in September I broke my foot.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that, but so I've been out since September the 30th, man, and I am dying to go back to work, and I've got my all clear from my doctor. I'm just waiting for them to uphold their end of the bargain, but it's just been a hassle, man. The last few weeks, I've been ready to go back and been having to deal with them, having to do physical therapy, but I'd say there's a whole lot more freedom when you work for yourself.
Yeah.
But it's a ball game to play because you got more freedom, but then you got way more responsibility.
Yep.
You got that self-employment tax. If you got employees, then you got to worry about them. Then you got to worry about insurance and
Yep.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a fun game to play, dude. I mean,
But I
some months are good, some months are bad. I think it's like with everything, man. I think it's just,
I
you
but
ha-
I see y'all killing it, bro. I mean, y'all are killing it.
we try to dang stay on top of everything and do good work. And like I said, we got out of the lawn care side of things, and
Right.
we just really do hardscapes now.
Okay, so but do y'all do any like retaining wall stuff
Yeah,
still or no?
retaining walls, pavers, sod. We mostly do retaining walls and pavers, though. That's what
Yeah.
that's what we specialize in. So
Do you still got a huge employee basis or no?
right now,
Well, I say
no.
huge, but
Yeah, right now, no. We got Rambo and his brother, and we're working a couple days a week. We're not even working full weeks right now. And just about every other landscaper that I've talked to, wintertime is just like not a great time for us. If we had snow,
yeah.
dude, I was talking to Andre the other day, and I was like, bro, if we had snow, we could just be balling out like through the wintertime. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Like
yeah, definitely.
I think snow plowing would be really neat, dude, and it would be something everybody could do.
I tell you, have you ever thought about getting into the weed control side? Just brainstorming
Yes,
here.
we have thought about it, and then we thought about the liability behind it, and nah, no, I don't want to have to
Yeah,
play somebody's yard.
yeah. That that was a risky business for me, but luckily, because I was a certified contractor for it. I went and took. I said I worked at the university, and I didn't even work. And I started in the grounds department, but I soon left, and I worked in a completely different ball game than the grounds department. But I knew the guy that was the foreman over there, and I messaged him. I was like, "Hey," I said, "I'll pay you whatever. Can you give me the turf control books?"
Right?
He said, "Yeah, sure." He said, "Come by and get them." I was like, "How much I owe you?" He's like, "Nothing." So I was like, "Heck yeah!" So, bro, I studied my butt off for I think it was 4 weeks. I think it was 4 weeks, and I went and took the exam. Uh, I took it at Athens Tech, and bro, I passed this a 250 question exam. I
Wow.
mean, you got to know everything from turf insects to turf diseases, all kinds of weeds, the different chemicals, whatever measurements, conversions, all that. You got to know it. And then once you pass that, then you're regulated by the USDA, and then they send around somebody to make sure your stuff's calibrated, whatever. And the whole time I was doing that, I only had that lady come out one time. And bro, and it was sketchy because, you know, you pull up somewhere and somebody that, you know, don't hardly know you. They think you're just some Joe Blow.
Right.
But man, it was, but yeah, it was definitely, if I could have ever broke out in that, I could make a solid living doing that because, I mean, I had it. I had it right there within reach. And I never pulled the trigger on a rig because I was dealing with Graham spray equipment and I'd called and priced the rig $13,000 outright. I mean, that's the whole thing ready to go in a truck. I was like, well, shoot, man, I'll go pull out a loan, you know, and I can get back in here. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. Because, you know, I was still in that full-blown maintenance mode, and I was just like, well, if I get this, then, you know, then I'm going to lose time here, and I can't sacrifice time here. I need to try to train somebody up. And then I was like, yeah, I don't need to do that.
Right.
But I did have a handful of accounts. I'd probably say less than 10 that were strictly weed control.
Really?
And man, it was rough with a backpack sprayer. I'm telling you.
I bet, dude. You did the whole yard with the
you,
backpack sprayer?
the whole yard.
Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh, it was a nightmare because then you're like, you got to try to visualize where you left off and go fill up. And
yeah,
I mean, it was definitely fun. But looking back, it's funny. But man, like, what you look at yourself like, what the heck are you doing? But like, it paid to have connections, and I still talk to that guy that gave me the books. I try to talk to him every month, and I mean, he's doing good. He's retired now, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, so I'm like I said, I miss it. But could I do it for a living? Probably not. Because, like I said, it's a cutthroat business, man. Mm-hmm. You know, you try to get your price set, and then 6 months in, and here comes somebody dang on $20. I cut your yard for free. You know, whatever, and it's just like, man, come on.
Yep.
And you know, folks, people.
Yeah.
They will try to save $1, and they don't care how long they've been with you. They don't.
Yeah, most of them don't, dude, which is crazy, man. You think you find a good person and you stick with them, you know, but most of them, they just want the cheapest price, you know, possible. And cheap work is not good work, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Cheap work is not good work, and good work ain't cheap. Yep, that's right.
All right, well, let's hear about the main part of the story. Let's hear about your accident, dude.
Oh man. And so September the 30th, putting up a deer stand, lock-on specifically, down there on our farm, which is right outside of Athens. And, man, I fell 10 to 12 foot, something like that. But my foot slipped. It's kind of a complicated story. My foot slipped, and I grabbed a sectional ladder, and it folded over with me. And there I am dangling and whatever. But if I'd have fell from where my foot slipped from, which is about 20 foot, probably wouldn't be sitting in this chair talking to you.
Wow.
So, man, I got 2 plates and a screw in my foot. I shattered my second and third metatarsal, which is the midfoot on the left foot. Man, it's been a long road, and I still got a long road of recovery. But I'm back in a shoe. I'm back walking. So I'm ready to go, man. Yeah. And like I said, it's been a really long road. I'm ready to get back out on the water. I'm ready to get back out in the woods, man. But it's definitely been a life-changing experience. I'm telling you. Are
you a man of faith?
Oh yeah, definitely. Awesome. God has really opened my eyes to this. You know, I don't take a second of life for granted like I used to. I just look at, you know, things could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
Things definitely could have been a whole lot worse. And it's like, you know, I done a video on YouTube, I guess about a week and a half ago or whatever, and it's like, you know, we as humans, and this is the same exact story I tell at the church. You know, anybody come into contact with it wants to know what happened. I tell them, it's like, you know, we as humans, we like to question everything that happens in life. You know, it's like, why me? Well, why? What is this trying to teach me? I told my wife probably I guess a week or 2 after I had surgery. I said, you know, things in life are meant to happen. God allows things to happen, and it's funny because all this circles back to a video I done I think yesterday called God's Timing. Mm-hmm. Everything happened on God's timing. You know, everything's in His hands, and everything he allows everything to happen for a reason. And we as humans like to question, well, why is it happening to me? Well, why am I having to go through this? And it's not to teach us a lesson or anything. And I was talking to another guy, and he said, you went through all that, and God's saying, now obey me. Not that I didn't already obey him, but in order to get to the next level, he's got to be able to trust you with what's at hand. And if he can't trust you with what's at hand, and you can't obey him at what's at hand, then how can you trust and obey him at the next level? That's the way that I like to look at it. And man, I'm telling you, that hits home.
Yeah.
Like it makes you stop and think about some things.
Yeah.
And it's like now, and the real funny thing is my accident happened on a Saturday. That week before, that Monday through Friday, the week before, we had safety week at our job at my workplace. On that Tuesday of that week, the safety topic was on fall prevention and safety harnesses. I never wore a harness, didn't have a lifeline, didn't have nothing. And it's one of those things I'd put up a deer stand hundreds of times, man.
Yeah.
Done it the right way, done it the wrong way, and had never had an accident. And then at one time, that's all it took, just like that.
So who actually found you? Who actually came and because you fell? Like, could you move? Did you just call somebody?
Bro, I got up and walked on it for probably 6 foot, and then I realized I was like, there's no way I'm walking out of this.
Yeah.
So luckily, I was behind my parents' house, and my dad was home. And it's kind of funny, man, because I was conscious the whole time. I was completely coherent to what was going on. I knew exactly where I was at. I knew exactly what happened. And the first thing, as soon as I hit the ground, I laid on my back, and I called my daddy. Or no, I got up. I laid on my back, and then I got up, and then I laid back down, and I called my dad. And I told Daddy, I said, just follow my truck. Like my truck was back there, but it really wasn't. My truck was backed up to the wood line behind their house. It's kind of funny because me and him laugh about it the whole time now. And so I called him. I said, hey, Dad. I said, I think I just broke my foot. I said, I need you to come get me.
Yeah.
And so he's like, where are you? And like I could hear like his adrenaline's running. And I look up, and my dad is running through the woods like a deer. And I said, Daddy, I'm over here. And so he comes and gets me. And then I try to walk again, and then he was like, you want me to go get crutches? And because by that time I was crawling on my hands and knees, and he went and got crutches, and he brought the crutches back to me. And then by that time I was almost out of the woods. And this is the funniest part. So on the section behind my parents' house, it butts up to some land my cousin owns, and then that butts up to some land my aunt and uncle own. But anyway, I was telling my dad, I was like, man, I gotta go. He was like, well, you want me to call your Uncle Rodney and tell him to come get you? And I was like, no, I don't want him to know where I'm deer hunting at. Because the particular spot I'm hunting, man, there's big deer across. There's like a 1,500 acre pine tract that butts up to a dirt road behind our property. And so I'm trying to pick the deer off coming from there. I mean, big deer, bro, humongous deer. And I'm like, man, if I can just get in here and get some of these deer on camera,
Yeah.
And, man, nope, didn't make it that far. Didn't even make a chance to hunt down there this year. But that was the funniest thing is when he said, you want me to go get your uncle? And I'm like, no. But so, like I said, I crawled out of the woods, hands and knees, man. I'm like, it's a wonder I didn't get snake bit.
Yeah.
Because that place is infested with copperheads. But I'm just thankful that nothing worse happened. And, you don't hear too many survival stories. I mean, you hear a handful, and it's kind of funny. 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, do you know who Hannah Barron is?
I possibly do.
I think you've heard of her. Her dad fell 20 foot, and he's got a broke neck and a broke back. He survived, and he'll be in a back brace and a neck brace for 3 months, bro. 2 broken vertebrae in his neck, 2 in his lower back, a bruised kidney, I think they said. I mean, he's bad.
Yeah.
But his story is exactly like mine. He wasn't putting up a deer stand. He was checking one for his buddy. Stepped off of the ladder platform, or stepped off the ladders onto the platform, was looking out away from the tree. When he turned a 180 towards the tree, and when he did, the top strap gave, and when it did, he swan dived. all the way down.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man.
Dude, that's how my dad was a roofer all his life, man. He was cutting down a limb in the front yard, and he didn't wait on my grandfather to get over there to help hold the ladder, and the limb knocked him off the ladder, and he broke his back, was paralyzed from the waist down, and ended up getting bed sores and passing away and everything. But
Oh man.
it's just like the littlest thing, man. The littlest thing that you do, you got to be careful, man. It's
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, man. But
Falls are horrible, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, they're definitely
like,
definitely
like
bad.
I said, I take every second of life for granted now.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure, for sure. I bet, yeah, something like that happens for sure, man.
because it's been a few weeks ago. I was sitting at home because man, that's all I've been doing is sitting at home.
Yeah,
You know, luckily I've been able to draw my short term disability from work and everything and stay afloat. But and you just get to thinking, and I'm like, you know, what if I didn't make it? You know, where would my wife and kids be at right now? You know, am I doing everything? Am I doing everything in my power? That way, if something does happen to me, that they're taken care of. And
right,
it really makes you start thinking about some life insurance policies and making sure your will, which I don't even have a will, and I've been meaning to do that. And it makes you think about things a little bit differently than you did
right.
before. But I will say that through all this, you know, it has allowed me to, you know, because I told you I'm a Christian man. It has allowed me doors to spread the gospel and to share my testimony on how God has, you know, prevailed me through this and got me through this. And it has opened up other avenues that I thought wasn't going to be able to open up. And fun fact, I'm actually in junction with the Georgia DNR about becoming a hunter education instructor, certified instructor. I'm working on some other things that hopefully I can go speak with them. I mean, there's a lot of things on the burner right now, and I'm hoping that they pan out and come to fruition.
Dude, I hope they do too, man. That sounds awesome.
Because you know it's weighed heavy on me because you know I knew better. I knew that hey, put your harness on, you idiot. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
And it's like big deer moving. You know, I'm wanting to hurry up. I got to get this stuff put up so I can hurry up and get you know get back to doing it. Man, I take a step back now,
yeah, for sure,
but
for
I
sure.
really hope that all that pans out because I really want to help the next generation. Is that on my end or yours?
Hang on, that's my garage.
Dang, I was like, what the heck is going on?
um, hang on just a second. So, you're a big fisherman, right?
Oh yeah, definitely heavy time fisherman.
Where you been fishing at?
Lanier, Hartwell.
Yeah.
I ain't been since August the 26th.
Uh-huh.
That's the last time I took my boat out. Man, it was so hot that day. God, it was hot.
So you were doing tournaments and stuff?
Yeah, I fished the BFLs last year. I fished them in 2022. I was part of a local club in 2022 and last year. But I decided to take a break this year, just focus on my foot, get better, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still going to fish, and I'm still going to fish some little open tournaments. And there's a trail that I'm in, and they fish Hartwell, Russell, and Clark Hill. That's the only three lakes they fish every month. Every month it's a different lake. And, you know, I'm not going to fish all of them. I'm going to fish where I can, but I'm just going to focus on getting better.
Yeah.
Because the doctor said it's going to take like a year to a year and a half to get full recovery and full mobility of your foot. And I was just like, man, you know, I don't want to be having to ride in a rough boat with somebody. You know, I'll just take it easy, still go fishing when I can, and just hang out, man.
Yeah.
Just get better. You
Oh, for sure, dude. I've been fishing, just pond hopping around here, man, and ain't nothing doing nothing, dude. It's too cold.
know? Oh
It's
yeah,
it's way
it's
too
too
cold.
lethargic, man. I tell authority, but when you can get them to bite, man, they're pretty
Oh,
decent size.
for
Lanier's on
sure.
fire right now. Lanier's
Yeah.
on fire right now.
Yeah, you catch your biggest fish in the wintertime. You
Oh
just
yeah,
don't catch the volume, you
yeah,
know.
that's right.
So yeah, so you say Lanier's on fire right now?
That's what I'm hearing.
Really?
That's what I'm hearing.
What
I
for
mean, they're putting
striper?
no bass, spots, and largemouth.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I ain't been in a while, so I don't
Yeah,
know. I can only tell you based on pictures. But I mean, I've seen 20+ pound bags.
yeah,
So you know, but like I said, they're biting really good. And when you can get them to bite, they're good, solid,
yeah.
good quality, good quality. Yeah.
Right, right. So when do you plan on if say your everything heals up right, when do you plan on doing your next competition?
There's a tournament which I missed the first one. It was last weekend. There's another one February the 3rd. I'm gonna be out of town, and then the next one's in March sometime, March the 6th or something, or 9th or something
Gotcha.
along them lines. I think I'm gonna miss that one too, because sometime in March I got to go help an instructor with Hunter Ed class. So yeah, so
Do you know Byron Hendricks?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's
name
in
rings the bell.
yeah, he's is he on here right now? I don't know if he's on here right now or not, but you can check him out whenever when we get off, but he's into doing the tournament fishing and everything, and
Really?
he's been doing it for a couple years now, and you know, he's really going through it right now, you know, because he's not winning a whole lot of money
Yeah.
to keep him going, and
Yeah.
so he's had to get like a different job, you know, I still think he wants to do the tournaments, but it was so expensive, you know, paying
Oh
for
yeah.
your hotel, your gas, your fuel,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
everything.
That's
So
right.
he just had to give it up for a minute.
Yep. I mean, it's boy, the fishing world, man. It used to be, if you can catch them, you was in,
Yeah,
bro. It ain't like that no more, man. It's all about that social media and business side of it now.
right,
They want to make sure that you can push product. They want to make sure you can do seminars. They want to make sure that you understand the social media side of things. I mean, that's where we're headed.
right.
And you know, man, the world of technology, that freaking live scope is kicking everybody's butt.
The what?
That
The live
live,
scope,
yeah,
yes.
live scope, bro. That forward facing sonar is kicking everybody's butt.
Dude, he's
But
got that. He's got the live scope.
it's like I tell everybody, take that away and see how good they are.
Right,
Put them in a little 12-foot John boat with no electronics and see how good they are.
right.
I told everybody, you know, I was gonna fish a trail called the Five Alive series on Hartwell. It's a
Uh-huh.
tournament every Sunday. I think it's every Sunday or once a month or something. They got a spring session and they got a fall session. And if you win it, it's a team tournament. And if you win it, you can punch your ticket to the Bassmaster
Oh,
Classic.
wow.
Well, I know the boy that went to the Classic last year. His name's Colin Smith.
Uh-huh.
He punched his ticket. Well, anyway, all them boys from Clemson and Manual and all them other and what's the other one that's up there around Clemson and whatnot. Anyway, all them boys getting out of school early, you know, they hit the lake. Forward facing sonar. I told my buddy David, I said, take that away from them and see how good they are. I
Yeah.
said, I guarantee you they get beat.
Yep.
Because I tell him, I was like, a man that knows how to read water will beat you.
Yeah.
And that's the way I grew up, man. I didn't have no fancy
Yep.
graphs. I just had to learn how to read water, and man, bro, I still learn. I
Yeah.
mean, I got graphs on mine, but it ain't nothing like what's out there today.
What kind of setup do you got?
As far as what electronics,
Yeah, your boat.
I got that's a 16-foot glass stream.
Nice.
It's got a little 50 horsepower Evinrude on the back of it. Man, it's small enough for me. I got a little Minn Kota trolling motor up front. I got a Humminbird Helix 5, I think it is, up front, and a Lowrance. It's an older model Lowrance at the console, but I use it for my mapping. That's it.
Nice.
Well, mapping and down scan and side imaging and stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, it's nothing fancy. It just shows me, you know, what's there.
Yeah.
By no means can I drop my little worm or whatever and watch it dangle and whatever. Then watch a fish come out of nowhere and just dive on it. Man.
That's
I mean,
exactly
it's
what
a video
happens,
game.
dude.
It's a video game to these kids, man.
Yeah, it's exactly what happens, man. And a lot of these kids got it so made, dude. Like back in the day, like I know for me when I was really into fishing and I thought I was gonna like be some famous, person, like yeah, you had YouTube, but like now if you really want to make it in the fishing world, I feel like it's easier now than it's ever been. Like if you could put in the time and you can get good at social media, like you said, and just make yourself look really good versus actually being a good fisherman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, look at Ben Milliken. I don't know if you know who that is, but I think he had a corporate job, man, and he was doing YouTube on the side, doing fishing stuff on the side, and man, he busted out on that YouTube, and he was like, yeah. And then he goes on to the EQs, which is the elite qualifiers. He ends up winning one of them, and bro, I think he's gonna be at the classic, and I think he's one of the 9 that made it to the elite series this year.
wow.
So he was a YouTuber through and through,
Yeah.
and he's down. I think he lives in Texas. Man, there's some big fish in Texas.
Big old fish
Fish in
in
Texas.
Texas. Yeah.
Man,
For
telling you.
sure.
Josh Jones, I think if Josh Jones could ever, which I know he's capable of doing it, but I mean he's got the social media down. But I think he enjoys that guiding more than anything. I mean he's making a solid living doing that. I think
Yeah.
the other day he's like charging like $2,000 a pop to go on trips, and I'm like, what the crap?
Yeah, that's
What
like
people pay that?
yeah, they pay that for Scott Martin too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you know a lot of the guides around our area, Lanier and Hartwell? And
No, I
so
don't. I don't.
there's a guy named, I call him Emil, but I think his name is Emil Wagner. Look him up, man. He's a jam up fisherman. He's going to be fishing the Opens this year. He won the All-American, punched his ticket to the Red Crest, which is on the MLS side of things. Bro, he's solid.
Really?
He knows his stuff. Oh yeah, he's from gosh, I think he's from Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got the catalog around here somewhere, but
Yeah, you could just shoot it to me when we get off here, and I'll check them out.
Yeah. I mean, he's jam up, bro. He guides on Lanier, Hartwell. I know Lanier and Hartwell. I know. I think Alatoona maybe. But I mean, he's jam up.
Yeah.
But he makes a good living doing that. I mean, he has fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I love fishing, man. I love fishing more than I love hunting. I like hunting, but fishing is I just love it, man. Even when I'm
Yeah.
not catching anything, it's just I I don't know. I just love it, man.
I'll never forget. I was a kid, man. Well, I say as a kid, I was probably 10 or 12 years old, man. And my uncle had an old, gosh, what was that? Not a Venture.
Avenger?
He had a Venture bass boat, and it had a.
You remember these? The
Oh
33s?
my God! Yeah, I had one of those.
That's the original.
I had one that had the solid steel ball bearings or whatever.
Okay.
The old school, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my uncle, it was me, my uncle, and my dad. We went to Sandy Creek in Athens. Bro, it was so cold that day. I'm talking about it was cold. And we didn't catch nothing. But I had a good time.
Yeah.
And my dad, he was kind of a little frustrated because we went out there and froze our butts off. And I'm like, Dad, we out here fishing. Come on. Who cares?
Right.
Don't catch nothing.
Right.
Some of my best days on the water, believe it or not. I mean, the bass could be hitting everything, and I could be wearing them out. But my best days on the water are the days that I don't catch nothing, or hardly nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I go out on Lanier, and sometimes like Like one time I went out on Lanier, man, it was so hot. And I'd only caught like one or two, and I'm like, all right, well, I think I got a pattern figured out. Because, I've always been told one is luck, two is a pattern.
Yeah.
If you can ever figure out, get them back to back, you can figure out the pattern. That's not always the case either. But anyway, I was like, man, it's so hot out here. I'm fixing to go to the house.
Yeah.
And I did, man. I just rode around for a little bit, and I just trucked on into the boat ramp. I'm like, man, I'm going to the house. It's a whole lot cooler there than it is out here.
Right.
But I had fun when I was out there. Don't get me wrong. Right. But I tell you what drives me nuts, man. I'm probably fixing to piss a lot of folks off. I can't stand a daggum wakeboard or a daggum ski boat or a jet ski. I despise them. I cannot deal with them.
Yeah.
Because I get out on the lake, man. I got one thing in mind. That's fishing.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I was fishing out there. I guess the last time I went out, it was choppy.
Yeah.
And man, it was like boat after boat after boat. And I'm like, yeah, I got to get off of here.
I feel like every time we go out there, it's choppy. I feel like unless you ain't fishing right up on the shore, you ain't fishing without falling out of your boat, dude.
And I tell you a different thing, man. I tell you what something has been going on for a while that I've seen is, man, these guys, you'll be fishing in the cove, and I was taught proper etiquette,
right.
If
Slow down.
Somebody rolled up on you, you say, hey, and they say, hey, can we come in and fish? Sure, come on in here, man. We'll wear them out, whatever. Nope, they just roll in, throw that old sun hood up like that, and just start fishing. They just like forget about you. And you're like, oh, come on, Ricky Bobby.
Right.
I mean, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
And then there's some guys out there, that grew up a whole lot differently than I did, man. They'd wait on you at the boat ramp.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't grow up like that. I was taught proper etiquette, and then you just see these idiots. And it's funny, my wife's got a cousin that I say probably like a month or two after I bought my boat, he went and bought a ski boat.
Okay.
And so, I threw a little solid jab at him one time. I was like, boy, I better hope I don't see you on the lake. And, it's kind of funny because now I think they make you take a boater safety course.
Really?
I think
that must be new.
Because he was taking one.
Okay.
And so, I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't remember where this was at 30 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of them new things,
Yeah.
Ever evolving world, you gotta educate these kids because they don't know.
Right.
Parents don't take them out on the water.
Yep.
And luckily for me, I try to take my kids anytime I can.
That's awesome. Yeah, these kids nowadays they don't enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, and they want a tablet or a phone. And it's like, come on, grab you some Hot Wheels cars and go play in the dirt or something.
Yep.
Well, my oldest, she's like that, and my youngest, she's more so like me, man, outgoing and outspoken and personality like nobody's business, and just, she'll get down there and play rough with a dog, or she'll get out there and play in the mud.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's there, man. She is there.
That's awesome. So how's your family life? Everything's good?
Oh, yeah, man. My wife, she just got a job at cardiovascular clinic up there in Gainesville, and, man, she loves it. She absolutely loves it.
Nice.
That, and I'm hoping to go back to work in a week or two, I hope.
Yeah.
I'm dying to go back to work, man. Being inside this house it played mind games with you.
Right.
And my girls, they go to a Christian school, man. We're involved in the church. And so I'm really looking forward to see what this year has to offer,
Well, you're in our thoughts and prayers. What church you guys go to?
It's called Houston Church of God of Prophecy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far from where we live. And I'll tell you a fun fact. My wife's family actually built that church, and so it's near and dear to her. And that's where her parents grew up going to church. And they actually went to the original church, which is it used to be right there in the Houston City Square.
Okay.
I think the original building is still standing. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. But it's still, if it is, it's still sitting there on the city square right there in Houston. Gotcha. It's right there to the right of Sliced, if you've been through Houston lately.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So I see y'all doing some work on what, Lake Hartwell, Toccoa?
Yeah, Toccoa. We're right on the line, man. Halfway is Toccoa, and the other half is South Carolina.
Well, what are y'all doing up there?
We were doing some drainage and a few catch basins, about 100 foot of drainage,
Not.
fence removal, and then fence installation. Um, we did everything, and it's supposed to be a 2 day job. It ended up taking three. It really ended up taking about 2.5 days, just because of the drive. Me and Kevin did the math today on how long we were in the truck, dude, and it was like, because it's 2 hours from Kevin's, it's an hour and a half from me. So he was in
Oh,
the
wow.
truck almost 8 hours, and I was in the truck like 6 hours, and it was
All right, where
just
does he live?
in Lawrenceville,
Oh, wow. Where do you live?
Swanee.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah. So
Yeah, y'all all over the place though.
yeah, we go
But I mean, it
if
pays,
the
you know.
project's big enough, we'll go to it, and especially
Yeah,
now the winter time, we're not super picky in the winter. I mean, we usually have enough big projects to carry us through the winter.
yeah,
And we're not super picky. Now here comes in 2 months, we'll be turning them down.
yeah.
So it is what it is right now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Pick of the litter right now, man.
Yep, yep. Well,
Just go run.
Brett, this has been a pleasure, man. How
Oh
do
yeah.
people find you? You got a TikTok and an Instagram?
TikTok, man, Instagram. My TikTok's actually down right now. We gave that up for the fast, but should be coming up on the end of that right now. I think
Okay.
this weekend. But yeah, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
What's your
So I
Instagram?
should be. Gosh, let me look, man. That's kind of bad on it.
You gotta unmute your mic.
Crap, sorry about that, man.
It's all right.
It's just Brett Penneguy on Instagram. It should be Brett Penneguy on Facebook, and it should be Brett Penneguy on TikTok.
Okay.
And then I think I've got a link. I think I got a link posted on Instagram for my YouTube, but if not, it's called Rooted Outdoors: Planting the Seed of Christ.
Make sure you
And
check them out on YouTube.
yeah, I started that kind of after my accident. Gosh, probably a month and a half ago, maybe, because I was like, made it through the accident. Now it's time for me to spread the gospel and use my testimony to plant that seed. And my whole goal with that is to anything outdoor related that I'm associated with, hunting, fishing, camping, whatever. My goal was to not only spread the gospel and to plant that seed and to reach one human being, but to also show the people things, because everybody sees when you turn on a hunting show, all you see is a little bit of what's going on, the animal that they're after, and then you see the kill. You don't see the time that it took to plant the field. You don't see the time that it took to pattern a deer. You don't see them checking cameras. You don't see them putting out cameras. You don't see them putting up deer stands. You don't see none of the stuff. And it's all funny because guess what? 5 minutes before my accident, I posted a video on TikTok and I explained all that. I said, everybody wants to kill a big deer or kill a deer in general, but nobody wants to put in the hard work. Five
Yeah.
minutes later, man, bam, fell and broke my foot. You talk about being humbled, that'll humble you.
Yeah.
And but like I said, that's my whole goal behind the whole YouTube thing is kind of spreading that gospel, sharing my testimony, and showing everybody the real and raw, man, of what goes on behind the scenes, and that way people get an understanding because a lot of folks don't get to experience that.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people know exactly where I'm coming from, and that don't just apply to hunting, man. That applies to fishing. Everybody thinks, oh, let's go hop in the boat. No, what's the first thing you're gonna do when you get to the boat ramp? You're gonna put the boat plug in, and then you're gonna get everything ready. So a lot of folks don't, they just don't get to see it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. You just see the highlights of everything,
Yep.
and that's pretty much with social media in general. And you know, I'm not going to lie and say, you know, we don't show all the low lights. You know, we show the highlights. Everybody wants to
Oh
see the
yeah,
highlights. So, but there is definitely a lot of a negative too that nobody gets
yeah.
to see.
It makes you. To me, it makes you feel more appreciative. You know, like I can sit here and think. You know, there's probably been a handful, less than five, I know, people that I know they're doing the same thing or did the same thing. And man, it's just like, you know, on their shows you see some of the food plot work,
Right.
and you see some of the trail cam work and some of the scouting work. But man, I just wanted to dabble into it and see where it's going, and so far so good, you know.
Yeah. Well,
But
dude,
man, I
you
appreciate.
keep doing your thing, bro.
Yeah.
And when we get off here, send me the link to your YouTube. That way I can plug it in to the short that I make.
Okay.
And,
Well, I appreciate you
yeah,
having me
man.
on, man.
Absolutely. We'll do another one, man. I'd love to do another one with you.
I tell you, man, I just come to mind. Let's just toss this idea around. If I ever get some free
Yeah.
time, I want to come hang out with you guys on a job site.
Do it, dude. Come
Man,
on.
I would just love to come. I don't have to do no work.
Yeah.
I don't have to do no work. You don't have to pay me no whatever. The next time you get a job in Brownston and I'm able to, man, I'd love to come hang out with you guys.
Okay, come on, dude. We'll definitely do it.
You just have to keep in touch with me, man, because as soon as I go back to work, man, it's balls to the
For
wall.
sure.
I gotta get some money going.
Yeah, for sure. For
But yeah,
sure. We'll definitely
I'll
give you a holler when we're in the area, and we'll definitely keep you and your family in our thoughts and prayers for sure.
well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, Cody.
Yes, sir. You have a good evening
All
and
right.
a good weekend.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Yep.
You too. See you, man.